Welcome to Sleep the Seekers. I'm Tejal Patel, and this is the place to be if you're looking to live consciously, spread love, and create peace and happiness in your life. And today's vlog is on dealing with those family members in our life that are driving us crazy, that we've always had a tense relationship with, that we never completely jived with. And if you follow me regularly, I spoke about in the past that growing up I've had a tumultuous relationship with my mother, and as I went on my spiritual journey, I recognized that there are some unresolved issues and lessons that I need to learn. And one of the things that I was called to do was do a past life regression, where I learned that yes, I do have a karmic bond with my mother that spans beyond this lifetime, and that's why it's so challenging. And the universe consistently shows us different challenges if there's a lesson that we've yet to learn. So it's going to continue slapping you in the face, bringing that soul to you until you deal with that energy. So I had the willingness to change. Enough is enough. And I don't know how many lifetimes it spanned, but it was at least 2 that my mom and I were together. So there was something seriously that I needed to learn. And I knew that the way to do that was I needed to heal myself. And so I was called to tap on traumatic life experiences that I had that elicited feelings of anger, frustration. I changed my story about how I viewed my relationship with my mom in my childhood. And that shifted my energy in the way that I had compassion towards her. I was able to see her as a soul, look at things from her perspective, but also recognize that even though someone is your family member, they have no right to steamroll you, take advantage of you, or disrespect you. So I started to gain my own confidence, started protecting my energy, because I recognized the energy that my mom and I had, we were functioning at different frequencies. Different souls have different energy frequencies. Once I started to get on my spiritual path, I was vibrating at a higher frequency. Even though I am my mother's child, doesn't necessarily mean I'm a younger soul. I have reason to believe I'm an older soul. So the age of your soul is kind of more dependent on what are your spiritual lessons, what ability are you evolving at, and what speed you're evolving. So once I was on my spiritual path, my soul naturally was resonating at a larger frequency and a faster frequency. So my mother's energy was very draining and depleting towards me because it was denser, it was lower. She's functioning more at a lower level, closer to her ego, whereas I was definitely functioning from my ego, and I still function from my ego, but I'm slowly trying to go away from that. So that's why we don't connect. So recognize that there are some people, especially in your family, that you're never going to really, really connect with, and that's okay. You're supposed to just learn your lessons. Not everybody is going to be that nurturing, supportive, loving family member. You are going to get that love and nurture from someone. It might be from someone in your family. It could be a sibling. It could be a cousin. It could be an aunt. It'll be someone. You will get that love. The universe is not going to leave you hanging, but it might not necessarily be your parent. And for me, that was something I really needed to accept. I went on this spiritual path. I started healing. I started forgiving myself and my mom. I started taking responsibilities of my part in our dysfunction. And I was like, well, I should totally have an amazing relationship with my mom now because I healed. And it wasn't like that. I felt very guilty because I could only be around her for small periods of time. So I meditated on this issue, because this is something that I'm writing about in my book, and I got some amazing divine wisdom. And I want to share the gist of that wisdom. To get the full impact, you'll have to read my book, but I wanted to talk about it because I think this is something that all of us are affected by in some shape or form. And when we know that there's somebody in our life that just we can't separate from, what do? So friends come and go, boyfriends and girlfriends come and go, but there's certain people in your life you just can't divorce, and that's your family. So if you're stuck with someone, how are you supposed to coexist with them and you know that they deplete your energy? So the first thing is speaking your truth. If you are hiding your emotions because you're scared of how they're going to react, or you assume they're going to react in a way in the past where they just didn't handle it well, or you just have given up totally. You feel like my words and my actions and my feelings are just wasted energy because they're not going to get it. Especially if you're in the last position, and that's where I felt I was, you're really getting stuck. Your emotions are stuck within your body. You need to release that. If that's either talking to the person or by writing them a letter, you don't even need to send them the letter, but you need to get those emotions out. You need to release them, acknowledge them, and it's up to you what you do with them. You either tell them or you don't. You don't necessarily even need to tell them to heal completely. The second thing is recognizing that you come first. You need to protect your energy around these people, and it's okay. You're just not going to vibe with them. And the way that you do that is through meditation. I do a guided visualization. I believe in angels, so I'm always calling on my angels and spirit guides to protect me with their shielding energy, bring me a healing energy and protective light. If you don't believe in angels, that's fine. You don't need to. You can do a guided visualization where you pretend that you are in a bubble, that you are surrounded by light and love, that nothing can penetrate that bubble, and you are going to face the world living in that space where only your positive energy is going to affect you. So doing some sort of centering, grounding, shielding visualization or meditation is perfect to protect yourself. And I believe everybody should do it when you're facing the world. You're consistently meeting new people, getting exposed to different energies, so you should protect yourself. And the third thing is when you're around that person, don't try to be with them for an entire weekend. Small doses is key because you can't be around that energy too much. What I notice is that when I go to my parents' house, that's the home that I grew up in. People with the spaces that they live, especially, your energy gets dispelled into your environment. And we're consistently picking up people's energy and we don't even recognize it. I'm extremely sensitive, so I might feel it more so than some people, but everybody to a certain degree can feel energy. And think about it. If you meet someone for the very first time and you don't even know them and you're just like, I don't feel right around this person, or you walk into a room and you could feel the tension, like it's just not comfortable. Or you love someone, you don't even know them, and you feel like, wow, I feel like I've known this person for years. I can totally relate to them. So you sense people's energies. And if you're around, and if you're at home, for me, for example, when I sit in the place where my mom usually sits on the sofa, or if I'm in the kitchen because she cooks a lot, if I'm not protected, I absorb that energy and I feel unbalanced. And I started noticing that when I'm spending a weekend with my parents, on Friday I'm fine because I'm protected from the morning. I spend time with them. I'm excited to see them. On Saturday, usually half of the day usually goes well. By the end of the evening, if I'm not protecting myself, I started seeing that my energy is starting to get drained. And it's not necessarily something that my mom said or she did to me. It's just being in that environment because I'm absorbing my mom's energy. And by Sunday, if I'm not protected, I'm completely unbalanced. And the good thing with my spiritual practice, I know that I feel unbalanced so that I won't act on my feelings of anger or frustration, or I won't let my ego take over, but it doesn't change the fact that I don't feel right. So what I need to do is go out into nature. My parents have this beautiful deck, has flowers, gardens. So that's my space. So go into nature if you find that you've had such a heavy dose of someone's energy. For me, when I'm in my home, my room was my safeguard as a child, and still to this day, my energy is infused in that room. So if you're at home and you have a space that's kind of your safeguard, go to that place and clear out your energy, because you don't want to be interacting with a person and your lower energy or being pulled into their energy field. And just recognize that, you know what, you can coexist with your family members. You can have compassion and respect for their soul, but you don't need to necessarily like their personality or agree with what their ego personality is doing. And that's completely fine. They're your family members for a reason. you're connected to them for a reason. But if you want to take the willingness to cut that emotional and karmic tie, it's going to require some healing and letting go. And if you have any questions, as you can tell, I have a lot of experience on this. Certainly hit me up. But until next week, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye, guys.